December crashed in all at once with the first snow, and with them, they both arrived on a Tuesday afternoon. I was out on the porch chipping ice off the steps while Cuffer rolled around in the yard like a complete lunatic, probably convinced he was unerung his wolf ancestors by diving headfirst into the snow. Lara was with me too. She'd come over to help hang Christmas lights. Then Mutterer's red pickup rolled up. He stepped out with that huge grin of his, a box of donuts in hand, and a casual,
"I brought us a very late breakfast."
He'd barely made it past the gate when Eli's old Jeep appeared from the opposite corner, loaded with books and a bright red poinsettia. They stopped at the exact same moment. They looked at each other. They understood. I saw Lara understand too. I'd already spilled every messy detail of my love life drama to her, so she whispered a tiny, almost inaudible,
"I la puta madre,"
that only I caught. At the same instant, Cuffer froze mid-snow angel, ears pricked, as if even he could smell the disaster brewing. Mutterer spoke first.
"Eli, what the hell are you doing here?"
Eli went pale and clutched the poinsettia to his chest like a shield.
"I could ask you the same thing, Salazar."
And then the penny dropped. I learned the whole story later. They'd actually been close friends ever since Eli moved to town until 3 years ago. In 2020, the village got a state grant to restore the old local thutter. Mutterer was the lead contractor. He brought Eli on as historical consultant and designer, apparently one of his many hidden talents. The budget was $180,000. One morning, $42,000 simply wasn't there anymore. It never reappeared. Mutterer swore Eli had moved the money to a private account for safekeeping, and then spent it on personal debts. Eli swore Mutterer had bought new equipment for his workshop and disguised it as unforeseen expenses. Neither could prove a thing. The town lost the grant, the thutter stayed dark another full year, and an outside crew eventually fixed it. After that, the two of them stopped speaking. Forever. Until today, Mutter glanced at the poinsettia, Eli stared at the donuts, and in the same heartbeat they both got it. Mutter let out a dry, humorless laugh.
"Of course, you and Camila. She told me she'd met a book-obsessed barista. I had a feeling it was you, but I didn't want to believe it."
Eli tightened his grip on the bag of books.
"She mentioned some big guy was helping her fix up the house. I figured it might be you, but with so many handymen around town, I let myself hope it was."
"This town's getting too damn small for the both of us."
Mutterer muttered, voice flat.
"For once we agree on something."
Eli shot back, half cynical, half smiling in spite of himself. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. The air turned so thick it hurt to breathe. Mutter looked at the snow, then at me, then back at Eli.
"I'm not doing this,"
he said, voice cracking.
"I won't play backup in another thing you ruin."
Eli shook his head, wounded but quiet.
"And I'm not sticking around just to be the runner-up."
He set the poinsettia gently on the step, careful, like he still didn't want to break anything that mattered.
"Camila, I really like you, a lot, but I can't keep showing up where I'm just the other guy."
He climbed back into the Jeep and drove off without looking back. Mutterer didn't say a word. He let the donut box fall, got in his truck and left. 2 sets of tire tracks in the snow that never crossed. Lara came down from the roof, wrapped me in the tightest hug, and held me for long minutes until the shaking stopped. When I was a little calmer, she said the sentence that strung worst because it was true.
"Babe, this isn't entirely your fault, but you didn't exactly help either."
I gathered the abandoned poinsettia and the crushed donuts, carried them inside, and after Lara went home I sat staring at them for a long, long time while Cuffer rested his big head on my lap. That's when I understood. In trying so hard not to hurt anyone, I'd ended up hurting everyone. I looked at Mrs. Miller's little, home sweet home, doily, and the house felt colder than the snow outside. It took me 2 full days to cry it out. On Thursday I wept and the house wept with me. One Sunday morning in January around 11, the doorbell rang. Cuffer barked once, then went perfectly still, as if he knew this wasn't the moment for games. I opened the door. There, wrapped in a plaid wool blanket, sat a very old man in a wheelchair. Beside him stood a man in his 40s, gently pushing the chair. The old man's skin was almost translucent, his eyes the pale blue of ancient ice.
"You must be Camila,"
he said, voice trembling yet still carrying strength.
"I'm Robert Carter. This is my grandson Daniel. I came to pick up what's mine. And if you'll allow an old man one last indulgence to see the house one more time.
I stepped aside and let them in. Daniel nodded politely and wheeled his grandfather slowly across the freshly swept porch. Robert took in everything with aching slowness. The white railing, the snow-dusted purple pansies, Mrs. Miller's doily.
You made her beautiful again.
He whispered.
Margaret always said white made the wood sing.
I led them into the living room. I lit the fireplace, even though it always takes its sweet time to catch. Cuffer padded straight over to the old man, sniffed the plaid blanket once, then, without asking permission, rested his big head on Robert's lap. Robert smiled and scratched those fluffy ears with trembling fingers. His name's Cuffer, I said, suddenly nervous.
An unusual name for such a good guardian.
He answered.
You can tell he's well trained. Huskies are usually much louder.
Of course, Cuffer always played the perfect gentleman in front of strangers. At least it made me look good. I ran upstairs for a second and came back down with the shoebox. Mr. Robert reached out like he couldn't wait another moment to hold those little treasures again. When he opened it, his hands froze on the very first photograph. The 4 Carters right here in this room, a tiny Christmas tree glowing with Kulk lights.
My God.
He sighed.
It feels like yesterday.
He studied each picture slowly, tracing the edges the way you trace a loved one's cheek. When he reached Mugrat's handwritten apple pie recipe, his eyes filled with tears.
She made this every Sunday.
He told me.
Thomas would come running home from school. Emily would sit on the counter stealing bits of dough. I'd pretend to scold them and end up eating more than both of them combined.
A soft little laugh escaped him, then silence stretched long and heavy. I didn't know what to say. Finally, he lifted his gaze and looked around. The walls, the ceiling, the light pouring through the window.
It feels different, lighter, like she doesn't have to carry everything alone anymore.
He said, running a hand over the box. I swallowed hard. Lighter because of a few little things, I asked, nervous, fumbling for words. For one brief second, the sadness vanished from his face and he smiled. That was all I needed to know. He was fully aware I'd heard the town stories about houses, and that I was starting to believe them.
Yes, for a well-made house holding the weight of a wardrobe, a bed or a roof isn't a problem, a couple of tons. Easy. But memories, that's the heaviest weight a house ever has to bear.
A hollow opened in my chest. Daniel stayed quiet, sipping the coffee I'd poured earlier, listening. After a few seconds of silence while I let Robert's words sink in, I asked a question that filled me with curiosity. Why did the house feel relief, Mr. Carter? I'm giving you back the only pieces of your family it had left. He smiled, a smile both sad and tender.
Because sometimes the greatest love is learning to let go. This house kept our memories because there was no one left to give them to. Now that someone is here again, she can finally breathe.
Cuffer let out a long, dramatic sigh, as if he completely agreed. And then, unable to contain myself any longer, I asked what had been sporadically running through my mind for weeks, ever since I heard Mrs. Miller say it. Mr. Carter, when my lease ends, what's going to happen to the house? He lowered his eyes. Daniel gently squeezed his grandfather's shoulder.
My nephew Richard,
Robert said quietly.
Lives in Albany. To him, this is just an investment. He called last year. He wants to tear it down the moment your contract is up. Build a small apartment block. He says the land is worth more than the house. He never understood how this town feels about its homes.
The air left my lungs. Isn't there anything we can do? Robert slowly shook his head.
Legally, it hasn't been mine since 2011. All I could do was ask him to wait until someone loved her again, even if only for 1 year. And then you came.
He fell silent. I felt the house fall silent too, as if holding its breath. But wouldn't that be like killing someone? I said without thinking much. Robert stayed still for a moment thinking. Then he answered, voice low but sure.
In these circumstances, I don't think so. I've spent months trying to find a way to talk Richard out of it. I thought the house would be sad about what was coming. But now that I'm inside her again, I understand.
Understand what?
She knows it's her time to go. I can't explain it, but I know this house like the back of my hand. She isn't afraid of being torn down. She was sad because she was still carrying this old man's memories and couldn't be useful to anyone in her final days.
He paused and his face brightened a little.
But look at her now.
He said, lifting a trembling hand toward the room.
She's alive again. Maybe that's enough. Sometimes houses just need to be loved a little before they leave.
He leaned forward and placed his wrinkled hand over mine.
You've already given her that, Camila. You'll give her a few more months of laughter, fresh paint, and a dog racing through the hallways. My Margaret would be so happy with that.
Tears rolled down my cheeks without permission. Daniel began packing the shoebox into a bag.
Grandpa, it's time to go,
He said softly. Robert nodded. At the door, he stopped and looked back at the living room one last time.
Goodbye, old friend.
He whispered,
Thank you for keeping them safe until I could come back.
and then, almost too low to hear,
Take care of this girl a little while longer.
when the car disappeared down the snowy road, I stood on the porch with empty hands and a full heart. The house wasn't cold anymore. It was quiet, like someone who has already made peace with its destiny and is simply waiting for the rest of us to find the courage to do the same.